Ah, man, all I'm doing is like parroting Count Dankula. I've seen other people do this shit. I'm going to answer any question. I don't care what it is. If you got a question and I see it come up in the chat, I'll answer it. I don't care what it is. And I will answer it honestly. If I can't answer it honestly, I'll just say I can't answer that. You know, I won't pull, what was his name? You know, the plead the fifth guy. Oh, man, mercy on my soul. And so I'm not going to be here long either. All I'm going to say is I am here to answer questions from the chat. If you have something you'd like to ask the Ogre, perfect time. I will just, I'll answer the question. I've been called so many names since I got on this platform here. Does it bother me? No. Most of the time it makes me feel great. It actually, it gives me like wind in my sails, so to speak. But sometimes I just want to answer these allegations as I drink fucking water. Motherfucking water. I don't even have beer. I don't even have a beer with me right now. I'm drinking fucking water. I'm sober as a fucking judge. Y'all think that's fun? I don't like it. I would rather be drunk in a ditch. But apparently, there's some people out in the world who'd rather see me drink Adam's ale. So here's to you. May your lives be long and pleasurable. So hi, I see you, Mad Dodge. Got one. I'm fine and dandy, Cole Pyle. I'm actually here to answer any questions that someone may have for the Ogre. As I see Mad Dodge joining in the fray. I've seen this done by Count Dankula, and he is a friend of mine. I don't give a fuck what anybody says. He's my friend. We talk. I'm not going to share what we talk about, but we talk, and he is my friend. And it doesn't really matter anyway, does it? This cyber world we live in, this insane. What is this? What do we call it? They say it's a community. Or I don't even know. I don't know what to call it. So I am here right now to answer your questions, even though they're slow in coming. So if you have any to ask, what kind of guitar is that? What kind of guitar is that? What music do I like? Are you a cocksucker? Is whatever. Just ask away. I'll do my best to answer them this Sunday, Memorial Day. I will say that this Memorial Day, I'm remembering this man. It's my Uncle Herbie. That's his mother, you can see at his left shoulder. He put his father on his right shoulder like any good boy should do. But I'm remembering my Uncle Herbie. What he done for the world? Nothing. 38 years old he died. Not in Vietnam. Died of pancreatic cancer. Probably caused by the Agent Orange or the malaria pill they gave him. Who knows? Who knows? Oh, the bass that replaced the Iceman is it's an Ibanez also. It's a BTB, B as in boy, T as in Tom, B as in boy. It's not a neck through, but it is made in the Fujigen factory, and it is highly prized. The only thing that could have made it more valuable, not by money standards, but the only thing that could have made that bass more valuable is if it would have been a neck through. In other words, the neck that you see there went all the way through the bottom. This is what's called a bolt-on. So if you were to look on the back of that guitar, you would see that there were 4 bolts holding the neck onto the guitar. It not only makes it less valuable in money, but players like me, we do appreciate a neck through. Much stronger, And also, Carrie S., I like Japanese guitars. I won't lie. I have a few American guitars. I just ordered a bass, a Rickenbacker, 2004. Not the year, but the model, 2004, made in the USA. I'm sure when I get it that I will be very happy with the construction of it. But I only have a few American-made guitars. One is that one that you can hardly see over there, the yellow one. That is a 1948 Telecaster. And then the Dean Flying V is a 1979, not repro, but the real deal, made in the USA. Sorry, Americans, I prefer the Japanese. They and I got to say, after 1974, 1973, they became a much better producer of guitars. By that, I don't mean that they produced a lot of them. I mean that their guitars were much better. And I just loaned out my SG, which was an Epiphone. And not because I can't buy a Gibson right there. It's because I like the Japanese model 335 Gibsons. I really do. Ibanez made some of the best. In fact, they were sued by Gibson because they were better than their guitars, is my guess. But probably more along the lines because they took their copyright and they just started selling guitars. So why is everyone so wrapped up in drama? We are all here to live and try to be happy, or something like that. Well, I gotta take my own place in drama, don't I? Whatever drama surrounds me right now, I started. I'm a troll from the old school. I used to be an anonymous troll, and I love that. Carrie and Billy Bong. I mean, I recognize y'all from the old days. I used to know atheism is unstoppable. There was a group of people maybe called the Flying Monkeys. I don't know. Maybe I was a part of those, but maybe not. And if I was, it was probably not a part of doxing anybody. Because right now I'm in the midst of like someone doxing me. If you ask that, maybe you know the issue, but I won't get too deep into it now. People took private things of mine and they put them on the air, and then they tried to pretend that this was this. And hey, more power to them. I love psychology, and one of my favorite experiments is you show a line, just a straight line on a chalkboard, and you have a group of people there watching that line. And when someone comes in that they are the subject matter, they don't know it. But when someone comes into the room, they see everyone looking at these lines, and they see one line is this big and one line is this big and one line is the same size as the first one. And everybody's remarking on how these lines are all the same. Wouldn't you know it, that 9 out of 10 people will say, oh, those lines are all the same length. I just watched that happen. It was so funny. I watched people try to imagine that something rather large was something rather small. I also was privy to folks posting private communiques between myself and girls. I actually just talked to a girl. I will not mention your name. You know who you are if you're watching this. And I told them, listen, I can't flirt anymore. I can't joke anymore. Because someone may take the jokes or the flirts that I have mentioned were jokes and flirts out of context and try to make me look like a jerk off. And God knows this is day 7 of sobriety for me. And motherfucker, Captain Colepile, if you enjoy sobriety, God bless you and your family, because I fucking hate it. I may grow to love it. I don't know. Give me some time. Right now, I wish this was moonshine in this moment. But in the next moment, I may be happy that I decided to go the route that I went. The only thing that bothers me is maybe folks will realize it's not the booze. I'm fucking batshit crazy. So I don't know. We got any more questions out here? What is that base? I got nobody here. So, I love to hunt. There were some jokes made about me earlier. But my cousin does run a farm with thousands of acres. I'll leave it at that. And they got deer and whatnot eating their crops, and they've got whatever. And in the end, it's my duty to shoot these animals if I may. I build piles of brush piles in my backyard. There's a bunch of them back there. There's about 10 of them. And what I do is I got spotlights pointed on them. In the middle of the night, I'll go out there and I'll throw an M80 in the middle of a pile. Pow! And I turn, of course, the lights are on now, but pow! And fuck, man, wouldn't you know it? The rabbits just come out like wildfire. And I love rabbit. I like two things. My favorite things to eat are rabbit and squab, which y'all might know as pigeon or dove. But I get all kinds of doves. I get red ringnecks. I get doggone green heads. I get doggone mourning doves. You name the dove, I shoot it and eat it. Why, Captain Cole Pyle? Because good Lord have mercy. No matter what anybody says about me, I'm 42 years old. I'm knocking on the door of 43. And I would like to live some more good years. I don't want to live bad years. I would like to live some more good years. And I do believe the only way that I can live more good years is if I drink a lot of Adam's ale and eat all the food that I can eat that I grasp with mine own delicate hands, Cole Pyle. Not that somebody brings to me. How easy is that? You go to the store, you pay some money, and you get a can of food. It's rewarding to go into the woods with your air rifle as I use. I may show it on air in a minute if somebody asks me about it, but it's rewarding, and that's why I do it. So let me look here. Hi, Ogre. Hi, MC. Hi, MC JK. I tell you what, I surely hope that you got a hold of my friend Nachi Free. Maybe everybody thinks I'm a joke, MC, but I don't think you do. And I surely do not think you're a joke, my friend. I take my hat off to you right now, MC. Hell, I take it all off to you right now. And I tell you, there's not too many people that have dedicated their lives to the eradication of cancer, but you're one of them. And I look up to you as the big brother that I have, but was a piece of shit. And I'm sure if you were my big brother, you'd be a lot cooler than the one I have. I don't know. I got to look back over here, though, and I got to say, look, more questions about guitars, whatever y'all want to ask me about, it's all good. But you do notice that the cowboy hat, like that, I just had to fix it. The cowboy hat's done. The pretense is gone. This is my weeding hat. It's not my son to go to meeting hat. It's my weeding hat. And I do love to weed. It keeps me close to the earth. So let me look here. Vaughn. I got Vaughn. I got Mr. Vaughn here. Hey, Ogre. Fuck the haters. I'm on the orange juice too. It doesn't stop me from smoking a bowl, though. Anyways, any favorite bands? Oh, my goodness. Before I answer that, Vaughn, I got to get me. Hang on, Vaughn. I'm going to tell you something right now, brother. I'm going to reach back over here. I'm going to grab my plate of marijuana because I grow this shit, man. I got all kinds of marijuana. Don't really matter to me. I can throw the shit down the toilet. I grow it. I don't really matter to me. So Vaughn, Mr. Vaughn, I'm about ready to tell you, but it's a tough one. When you ask me my favorite bands, I've got to go to blues. And so I'm going to give you my 3 favorite bands, so to say, but they're named by their frontmen. So Mr. Vaughn, this is to you. MCJK, forgive me, brother. I'm not necessarily a hippie. I just like to smoke marijuana. Here you go. Whew. Boy, that's a good one. So my favorite bands in order are this. Freddie King. I mean, you go listen to Freddie King and the blues he plays is second to none. I won't elaborate much more. B.B. King. What a guy, man. Go check out BB King. God rest his soul. May he live in Elysium forever, playing the blues all night with many a lovely white woman. In black if he likes them, but he did like the white women, do you? Don't you know, man? And last but not least, Albert King. And if you don't know Albert King, go check out a tune called Give Me Reefer. Oh, excuse me, man. Give me champagne when I'm thirsty and reefer when I want to get high. Go check them out. So there you go. Come on, folks. Give me some more questions here. I'm looking over here. I just answered that from Vaughn. Blues Traveler, man, God rest his soul. Man, listen, tomorrow I will have you a little Blues Traveler because the hook brings you back. I'm going to tell you what. I ain't telling you a lie. It's the hook that brings you back. On this, you can rely. Well, I just say the Blues Traveler not only inspired me, but dag nabbit, if you don't know who they are, go check them out. They're more than just a group, a band that was the backing track for, what was that? The bowling movie with the bowling movie. Everybody knows what it is. Kingpin. I knew the whole way along. I'm just trying to string y'all on. Listen, let me tell y'all a story. I'm going to tell y'all a story, and I'm going to look for questions now. I'm going to look for questions over here. Everybody in the chat, they didn't want to ask me nothing. I did get some good. Oh. You finally are drinking good shit. Quiet. Thank you, Quiet. God bless you, Quiet. I know one thing about Quiet. Quiet's probably drunk now, but Quiet can handle his booze. Hell, and Ogre's so fucked up as it starts, he don't need no booze. I mean, what y'all think? Would y'all like? If you want to see me drink whiskey, press 1. If you want to see me remain sober, press 9. And if you ain't paying, if you didn't hear what I said, go, piss up a rope. So I'm going to look for more. I don't even know what's boxers or briefs. Well, I'll do this standing out this way now because I'll get doxxed. I get doxxed over here. Y'all can see what I wear. Y'all can see. I'm trying to cover up the Johnson, the Johnson. But boxers and briefs, I wear bikinis, baby. I don't wear neither one nor another. I like bikinis. And the reason why is I got a big Johnson, regardless of what anybody wants to say. You could actually go to somebody's channel probably for 2 more days till it gets taken down. And you can see I got a big Johnson and I got a big set of cojones. And if I don't wear the briefs that you just saw, all of that dangles down. And sometimes when I sit down, I sit on my pecker. And if you've never sat on your pecker, it's not comfortable. No, the balls neither. I would suggest if you got a big one like me, when it's just limp, or you got a dangling set of nuts like I unfortunately have, that you go ahead and get you a reasonably tight fitting pair of bikini briefs. And that is what I use. Oh, we got Willem here, man. We got all kinds of people here. Oh, we got 9. I don't even remember what I said. But I appreciate y'all pushing buttons. Listen, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go for another 8 minutes. I'm going to answer y'all's questions. Then when at the end of that 8 minutes, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to twit this out. What do you call it? Not twit. It's not tweeter or twit. I'm going to chat this out in the side chat because you never know. At the end of this, you may have some questions for me that you don't want to ask in public. And if you do, I highly recommend that you're careful in the after chat because there may be some backstabbing sons of bitches willing to dock you when sons of motherfuckers are asking you to whip out the little Jew. And because I love the Britisher, that's all I got to say about that. Dag nabbit. But go on and tell people that the sky is green. They can look at the sky and see it ain't green. Oh, let me go back over here. Oh, I got RPR. I got just 9s in the boxes of briefs. I answered it, man. No more questions for the Ogre. None. gotta be kidding me. Y'all got 8 minutes. If y'all got no more questions, what I'll do is I'll editorialize for the last little chunk here. Am I sad because it's Memorial Day? Am I thinking about the fallen warriors? Fuck no. 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 We ain't had a legitimate war since Dagnab World War II. That was hardly legitimate. Such a bitches wanted us to go to war. They damn well knew the Japanese was going to bomb the fuck out of Pearl Harbor. You expect me to believe that shit? This United States government lied to me left, right, center. You know what? I don't give a fuck. Y'all want to call me non-patriotic on this Memorial Day? I got one thing to say. Captain Colpile knows. Argue with him. Call him a communist. He'll put a fucking hammer and sickle on his shit. Call him a communist while he's slaving in the ground, digging out your coal so you can have some heat, so you can have some light, love, and warmth. I'm going to tell you my opinion. They ain't been shit legitimate. Nothing. Fucking World Trade Center, dubious. What about Building 7? Dubious. Not just going to come out and tell you what I think unless y'all ask me. Y'all ask me if you got the balls. World Trade Center, dubious. Firemen. Talking about, we heard the boom, boom, boom. We know what explosions is. They said, pull it. Motherfucker said, pull it about Building 7. And then the cocksucker that owned it, Jew, God save him. Can't even imagine he's, God. Makes it, hang on. I had to spit that out of my mouth and fucking call him a Jew. You gotta be shitting me. This son of a bitch took out billions of dollars. Just look, it's all public record. Days before they come down, Dagnab man that owns it takes out big old insurance policy. And then on top of that, listen, man, let me tell y'all something, man. Just relax for a minute. I love America. Let me tell you, I love this country. I love it like my own beating heart within my chest, folks. I'm not even joking with y'all. I love this country, man, but it's a lie. They lied to you, Gulf of Tonkin incident. What are you shitting me? They said fishermen was out there, throwing rocks at a battleship. Give me a break. And then 50,000 plus American boys went and died for nothing. Memorial Day's ass. How about let me have a Memorial Day when I can look back at young boys dying for a fucking reason? Boots setting up in some dag-nab football complex. You shitting me? Trying to tell the Ogre this shit. MCJK, look out for a link. I need you here, brother, for just the last little bit. I'm tripping out. I can't even imagine. I just want to believe that the American government would not lie to me. MCJK, won't you help me? With due respect to everybody I know, you're the smartest man that I've ever come in contact with in the last year or better. What are we going to do? We got Islam blowing themselves up at little girl concerts. And then we talk about Gulf of Tonkin incident and 58,000 Americans. So, well, good gracious. Mercy on my soul. All right, listen, look. I'm gonna break it back. MCJK, I know you can hear me. If you want to come on here today and you want to give the folks that are die-hard riders with the Ogre, man, I see them out there. The die-hard riders, baby. You know, the ones that are here in the beginning. Because if anybody thinks the Ogre is going anywhere, they're fucking nuts. I'm a Jew from a long line of Jews, tracing their ancestry back to Abraham. Motherfuckers been trying to kill us in the desert for centuries, for millennia. But Father Abraham's seed is still here. And you can see Father Abraham's seed been blended with a little bit of them Scotsmen there. Had they gone Count Dankula. You know what, Count Dankula? I got to get you back on the show. People mocked me and said that we were not bros, man. You know what? And I don't know you, motherfucker, from Adam, like you don't know me. You know, I don't owe you shit. You don't owe me nothing. But we both know from back a time when you were not known by many people, the Ogre contacted you and you contacted me back like a true dog, man. True dog. And what's happened to Scotland Tale feature? What we gonna do, man? What can I do? I tell you what, Tale feature, you got balls, brother. I watched the song you put up. Let me get a little drink of water. I watched that song you put up, Tail Feature. You said gas to Jews, brother. You got balls in this day and age. What? He's got balls, folks. What'd you say? Ogre said he's got balls because Tailed Feature said, yeah. Dankula said gas to Jews made a dog jump up. Motherfucker looking at a year in jail. You know what's worse than a year in jail for Dankula? Waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting. When do the cocksuckers either bring your case or get the fuck? You know what this is what my grandma used to say. Shit or get off the pot. I'd be dagnab. She told me that when I was 2 years old. None of y'all remember that? Shit or get off the pot. Can't just sit here and act. What? Man, can't just sit here and act that way. Well, no, as a matter of fact, Zero Cool, I'm totally off my meds. I was self-medicating with alcohol. And I don't know. And by the way, Zero Cool, look out for yours. Because I said to MC, but I'll tell you what, as much as I love you, and MC, let me look back here to make sure you didn't. Because I'm focused on this now. Focused on this. MC says, quiet. Zero Cool. I got nothing from MC JK. So dubious at best. Dubious at best says, man, I tell you what, Captain Copile on my motherfucking life and my mother, brother. Captain Copile, I would proudly stroll up to the gates of hell with you, sir, since you work there anyway, and storm that motherfucker, and we kick the old devil out of hell. You just make me minister of fun, and I'll be happy about that. So it's so good to see that you agree with me, Captain Copile. You're a hell of a guy. I tell you what, man. When I sit here, I turn on this light, right? I got this light. I got a light luminescence over here. Where did I get it? Captain Copile. Bottom of the fucking earth. Nothing. Just dark. Anything happen? Y'all remember them sons of bitches and bean eaters down there, man? It was down in the fucking ground for days. What y'all think can't happen to Captain Copile, right? Oh, he's in some mechanized, dagnab, doggone futuristic coal mine. Give me a fucking break. They exchanged air sniffers for canaries. Every day, Captain Copile goes down in that dark, cold hole to bring you your coal. He risks his life. His boy risks his life. And Captain Copile, you know what? I gave him a drink the other day, and that was pure D boozy. Tell you what, man, here's to your boy. This is Adam's ale, friend. This is an Ogre, 7 days sober. A lot of people going to question it. They're going to say, man, that motherfucker's crazy. Guess what, Captain Copile? They can kiss both sides of my ass, and when they're done, suck your boy's cock. Here's to him graduating in a place where most motherfuckers don't take the time. Adam's ale to your boy. You see, I need that water anyway. Nourishing my body. Making my mind stronger. Oh man, let me look at any questions here. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna shoot this shit out to thing, but I can't yet. I gotta shoot this out to Zero Cool. Because, and I'll be honest with y'all, man. I'm not even, you know, and you too, MCJK. I like you too, but boy, man, there ain't nobody like Zero Cool, man. That some bitch can rant like a motherfucker. I don't even know why he. Not only don't I know why he don't have what you call it, a YouTuber. Man, that some bitch. I don't understand why he don't have like a radio station. Because boy, when he gets on a cunt hair, he will stretch that son of a bitch until it's game the fuck over. So I tell you what, Zero Cool, since you started this little daily mo with Beard Barrioni, but I think the Beard Barrion, he's up north. Man, I tell you what, I'm proud as a peacock to be the Beard Barion's #1 patron. And there was some miscommunication, you know. I mean, because the Beard Barion, he don't work for me. What, I give him $1 and that suddenly matters? That don't matter. So he was off in something and they were talking about, maybe they were talking about the Ogre. It don't matter, man. The Beard Barion understands what it means to play a part. And you know what? Next to me, he's probably just as good as anybody. It's a Beard Barion. I don't know if you can come in, but you're welcome to, brother. In fact, you know what? I'm going to shoot, now that I did that way, I'm just going to make sure, Zero Cool, that I send you your way, and I send his way. And yes, Yorn and hens. You know what? Listen, folkin', man, yo, beloved Ogre, man, he's a doggone, look, I ain't just nothing but a blue-eyed lover. Ain't been far out to holler for too long, man. You know? And I get all balled up in this motherfucker alone, man. Ain't nobody Ogre can speak with, nor make himself known. Staggerson, man, could you even condescend to come in here? I don't even know. I tell you what, Staggerson is another one. If you want to meet somebody crazier than the Ogre, I recommend you go and you check out Emmett Woosley. Oh, Staggerson's cousin. What a moron. I mean, I didn't mean to say that. What I'm trying to say is he's got some funny ideas. Some of them I wonder if they're real or if they're not. All right, well, as I get, I'm going back to the dealio because any more questions, last chance before I pull some folking on here. Fat money is BS. So how you doing, Mad Dodge? Quiet Beards, get the quiet. I tell you what, Beard Barry's a bad motherfucker. You got to admit it. He gave me a shout out, man. I tell you, humbled me. He named me. I'm smiling like a doggone possum right here. And he named me. I was his first patron. And that gives me the right to say, hey, if you go look at his content and you see that he's working hard, I'm telling y'all, man, he gave up some shit to do that. He didn't just wake up one day and be like, I'm going to be the Beard Barry and watch this like I did with the Ogre. Because I don't, I'm not downplaying him either, but I don't need this. People can mock me all they want, but my 2 guitars behind my head are worth more than most people make in a couple months. Plus those old PV speakers that you see hanging up there, you can't even buy them unless somebody like me sells them to you, and I'd want a lot of money for them. Hey, how you doing, Zero Cool? I've just been rambling on. I was going to continue to ramble and answer questions, but you know what? Not a lot of questions coming in from the chat today, brother. It's mostly like, Beard. Actually, I got Tonka Saw in there. Tonka, I will answer any reasonable question you got, brother. He says, do I need help? Oh, man, good mercy have sakes on me. I mean, sakes have mercy on me. I mean, good Lord. Yeah, but the kind of help that I need, it costs about $300 an hour. And to be perfectly honest, I'm not willing to put the time in.
Well, who really wants to spend $300 an hour to get any kind of help?
Not the Ogre, brother. I just muted myself because you're here, Zero Cool. You have to have a rant. You just heard me.
Actually, no, I've got no rants, man. I was goofing on you in the chat, wondering if you were on your prescribed meds and whatnot, but you're doing all right.
No, as a matter of fact, I quit cold turkey on the booze since you asked me a legitimate question. And when I went to the doctor, they gave me some stuff called a Cerax. It's
All
a
right.
mild benzo. I took one of them, and it made me feel so good. I flushed the rest of them down the shitter. Yeah, no, I'm not joking. I feel like I got myself into this mess. Oh, I'll fix the echo because I didn't know anybody was going to come. I'll put on some headphones as soon as I'm done saying this. But I got myself into this mess, Zero Cool, and I don't expect there to be any easy way to get out of it.
Yeah, well, I was just sorry, Ogre. I was first off, I've been talking to a few people, not about you, but they were asking me what happened 2 weeks ago. I think I told you that my computer went to shit. Things happen. So just getting a little back on track here. It's good to hear you. But let's we're not going on rants today. It's Sunday. Technically, according to certain biblical beliefs, yesterday was the day of observance of the Lord because Sunday is the beginning of the new week. But we've all got our things that we struggle with. I am a slightly large guy, and my vice was soda and chips. Never, junk food basically. Never been a drinker. I have I do have the occasional Rolling Rock. Not gonna lie. Never did drugs of any kind. I take my prescribed medications for my heart, what have you, whatnot. But, for anybody to condemn somebody for having a bad habit, that's just like living in a glass mansion asking to have a boulder roll through. That's all there is to it.
Oh, and good God, listen, I would go further than that and say, this is the way I am. And it's because of long usage, Zero. It's not because this is because I've witnessed mankind and I've witnessed myself and I've tried to honestly take a look at it. And also I must say, Tonka saw it was, hey, look, man, I'm actually humbled that he was on here. And I have to mention right now, in case somebody watches this later, that what a gentleman. He came on here. He said a few things. And in fact, I'm going to read what he said. He said, just get some help. I'm out. He said something before that, Zero Cool. Let me look back because he was, I don't even know what to say. He's flabbergasted me at this point because I figured if one of that camp, and look, Zero, I don't want to get in much about that. I admitted to what I did in the after chat a long time ago. There was, I've said it on air that, yeah, I got drunk and I was being egged into doing what I did, and everyone that was there, and I go by Tigerson, Beardberry, and the Britisher left right before that shit went down, but Day is dead. I would also say that Amanda Wolfchild just came back right after I whipped my willy out, but it was to thunderous applause, Zero. I think that's why no one played the videotape. And look, I don't want to go there because the whole deal here, look, if I've not done anything else in my life good, Zero Cool, and I must say, sir, I thought you were like 145 pounds, probably like 6 foot tall. I figured you were whip crack thin. I really did. No, I'm not kidding. I'm not joking.
No, I find that funny because I wish because I wish, but I'm actually physically in the height range of about 5'10", and I am of a stocky build by genetic design.
Let me get MCJK in here because he said I didn't see his response. You're right, MCJK, I didn't. And then he's like, and now you're ignoring. So I would never listen. Look, of all the people I've met on this, and if my best friend online sees this, he might take little. Don't take exception to this, Britisher. But the most intelligent person that I've met, all the way around. The most rounded, intelligent human being that I know right now is MCJK. The guy spends his days curing cancer. and spends his nights wondering how he can be a better human being. And I don't know many people like that, Zero. I just don't. And yes, you do seem to me like if I would, by your voice, and in my thing today, I always put a Zero cool, because I tell you, you are on my top 5 list of cool people on the internet. And yes, I imagine you as being like 6 foot tall, really thin, like whoop a motherfucker's ass. Like as soon as somebody, they're busy going like, hey, and you've already like hit him with like 3 long jabs, way longer than mine. Bam, bam. And like smacked him in the face with your right. But like, yeah, bitch, I'm Zero cool.
I'm not really a person to fight. I actually am more of a person to give a person options of, well, you can either fight me and one of us is going to lose. That's the way it goes. Or you can just walk away. And I've had people just basically say, I'm going to kick your ass and all this other stuff. And I'm like, that's fine. If you really want to waste your time and go down that road, I'm going to be 42 in a couple months. I got too much time. Not too long for this world in the long run. Everything's limited edition type, and it's like, I ain't get time for this shit. People can, if they're so gung-ho to fight me, they can just get over it. And
well, elaborate more on that last part there, because listen, and I respect you, but you've also told some stories that I remember, and I do know this much. I don't think you look for a fight, but I do believe
I'm a jinx.
I think
I am a jinx. It does look for me, oddly enough. My dad.
And I would guess this by what you've told me, that if someone was to come to you looking for one, you would not necessarily lay down.
No, I wouldn't lay down. I got better things to do. But my dad said I've always had this proclivity of being a jinx in regards to trouble finding me. It's like, great, here we go. And he's not wrong. I used to be a very rowdy person when I was a kid. In fact, my grandfather called me roughneck, and I thought he meant like the garbage can, but I don't know where the hell what he doesn't. I don't even know what that means. But then again, he used to call one of my sisters Towhead, and I'm like, well, what the hell is that? Well, it's because she's very blonde. I was like, oh, okay. So,
I was a towhead until I was about 5, and it started going a little darker.
Now you're a toe chin.
Yeah, no, but right, but nobody would, this part right here. But when I was young, my whole head, I know what you mean by that. I was white. I almost looked albino. I might flash a picture of me when I was about 5 years old on the camera one day, but you know, when you say towhead, you mean white-headed. White-headed,
yeah,
not even blonde.
I have my a couple of my sisters and most of my female cousins are very blonde. I am not. I'm actually more on the brunette side myself, and I still have a full head of hair, and I get that amongst other things from my mom's side of the family. So no, I'm not one to go look for a fight. I'm actually more of the type to say, because I did that when I was younger, and it didn't prove, it resolved nothing. It wasted time, and it wasted life opportunities, and it wasted business opportunities. And
yeah, and I've got a question from Adolf Pepler. I'm so gay because I like dudes. Continue.
You're so gay because you like dudes. All right, whatever.
Well, that was the question. I just wanted to answer it as best I could. Zero cool. So there you go. We had, and I don't know if you were there. I think it was before I knew you. But we've had Dankula on 5-6 times, and we had Dankula on one time. And
I've never had the privilege of talking with Dankula.
Next time he should be on, not this Monday. It'll be Scott Pressler tomorrow. And you got to be there, man, because it's going to be an all politic Monday. And as much as you say you don't like politics, you actually, but you know a lot about. Look, I'll talk to you about it later. Privately. Yeah. So anyway, Dankula was on, and I seen all these things in the chat. Zero. It was like, hey, what does your old lady think when she comes home at night to give you a goodnight kiss, and you got sperm in your beard? Does she like the taste of that sperm? And I was laughing. I was like, hey, I've got some questions for you. I was just being a smartass. You know me. I was like, I got some questions for you, Dank, but I don't think you want to answer them from the chat. He was like, oh, really, mate? What are they? And he knew. He's seen them. And so, and he just answered them. He answered even that one. And I remember that one. I don't remember all the rest of them, but I remember that one. He just was like, oh, she don't like it at all, lads. You know what I mean? And so he answered each one of them as if they were serious questions. So I'm going to try. So the reason I'm so gay, Adolf, what was his name? He's irrelevant, but let me ask. Adolf somebody. The reason is because, I can't answer the rest of it. You've heard it once. Hi, MC JK. Dad's here. We got to be serious. So
he's not he's not irrelevant. The overall question may have been slightly offbeat and irrelevant, but a person's never irrelevant.
no, I was just busting his balls like he was mine. So the reason I'm so gay,
well, I'm busting your chops because you're busting his balls.
Yeah, it's because so many good things happen to me that I'm very happy. And gay means happy, and I'm not happy about the cultural appropriations from the homosexuals. How you doing, MC?
My daughter actually agrees with you on that. She says that it's counterproductive in a way because people don't know what the other term means, and when they see old TV shows that have signs that for clubs that say gay and frisky, their brain goes right to the gutter for whatever damn reason. MC, take the mic.
Can you guys hear me?
I can hear
perfectly. Yeah. I see you going around. I don't think I am, but I kind of want to ask you a question because I'm proud of it. Is this the first stream you were ever on or no?
Yes, this is the first stream I was ever on.
Man, I watch you too, and sometimes you go on places that I don't know. I'll be perfectly honest with you. If I didn't see your logo there, I just wouldn't be there. But somehow or another, brother, whenever you're there, you manage to be MCJK, and you really. So what's up today, brother? Without kissing your ass any further.
You need to stop putting me on such a pedestal. I'm just a normal human being. My pedestal begins at the bottom of the ocean. It does not. Well, yeah, I know.
Well, I don't want to cuss you now, bro. I just respect you. So let me just say that this fuck your mother and the horse she rode. And what I mean to say is, it's good to have you here. And for myself, when I run into somebody, and the reason that I feel the way I do about you is because of things I know things about you that you are willing to share. But it would be difficult. So let me just say this. What do you do, MC, in your normal course of days? Tell me like two things. What's your two major roles that you play? And then maybe people would understand why I have such respect for you.
I do post beam modeling for linear accelerators is generally what my primary role is.
Oh, good. Come on. I mean, so layman can understand it, sir. I know what you just said, but my wife actually explained it. So tell them so they know too.
I work on radiation oncology equipment, which is used for radiation treatments for cancer patients. Is that a little better?
No, that's much better. And you also said that you actually wear like two hats, that when you're not doing that, is there something else you do to communicate with people and try to help them?
Well, yeah, I talk to the physicists, the medical physicists, or the dosimetry staff, and answer their questions concerning, how the treatments are working, how the commissioning of the equipment is working, whether or not things are in tolerance, what to do, whether or not something's available or not. I mean, there's a number of things that generally I have to be available for.
Well, now I'll press you. The field that you're in, I happen to know that some I'm not going to be careful, but I want to word this well. Some people in the medical care profession, they look at what you do in a dark light. But would you say that, okay, how can I, MC, listen, fuck you, man. Some people say you're a merchant of death, dealing destruction to those that are going to die anyway. What would you say to those people?
Obviously that's not correct in any way, shape, or form. You're trying to cure cancer, all right? And cancer is your body basically, cells in your body are dividing without any restriction, normally due to a genetic flaw that's been created due to damage to the genetic code. All right. Now, the damage to the genetic code would generally entail the death of the cell. So if a cell gets damaged, it normally is detected by the cellular processes within the body. If this damage is not too great and it's not significant, the body will actually repair it, or it will cause its own death. If the cell damage is too much, it'll cause its own death. All
Yeah,
right?
that's cell meiosis. That's cell meiosis caused
Cell
by
mitosis, yes.
by the P52 gene, if I'm not mistaken. And if
It
there's
depends on the gene. It depends on the gene. Depends on different aspects of it. It's actually more than just a single gene. There's several genetic markers that are part of it. It also depends on how the break is, whether or not it's a single strand break or a double strand break. There's a lot of theories that a single strand break actually is what causes most mutations. All right, we don't know about, because if during the repair process is what they're thinking, but it's just a theory because we've never actually seen that for sure. So it's just a it remains a medical theory. The double strand breaks normally will cause the cell to die immediately because it becomes beyond the ability for the cell to actually repair it. It's when there's a break that isn't detected soon enough, a partial repair is done, and then the cell begins to revert to unrestricted cellular division and growth that creates cancer and creates tumors.
So, right. So, and I understand this, but just so everyone understands, cancer is actually, and correct me if I'm wrong, rogue cells that the body is producing. Your actual body is producing this.
Your body is producing it. But it's not being regulated by the rest of the bodily functions. All your cells are subject to a cancerous type of a growth, and they retain that element of what type of cell it was. For example, a brain cell or a nerve cell can become cancerous. A lung tissue obviously can become cancerous. Most people are familiar with it. All your organs in the body can become cancerous. But when they go through a cancerous type of an environment, what happens is that first of all, they begin to grow. Because it's unregulated growth and it's abnormal, those cells tend also to be more likely to break off and spread and lodge in other parts of the body through both the pulmonary system and the lymphatic system. And this is why...
If it hits the lymph nodes, you're done. Like,
yeah, and we have some,
like crazy.
We have some pretty smart people in the chat, MC. I thought that you were pretty much at the end. I'm sorry if I cut you off. We have someone here asking, is there any, this is RPR, is there any evidence the electrical magnetic therapy reduces cancer? Can you speak to that? And I might have a question after that if you
There are questions about that. There are studies ongoing right now to determine that. The question with all that, however, would be, can you get it fast enough? Right now, my own personal belief from what I've seen so far is that while it may be useful in very, very early stages of cancer, it's unlikely to be very effective once you're at least at stage 2, and definitely would be useless at stage 3 and stage 4.
Okay, well, I got a couple follow-ups. What about high doses of vitamin C? Have you ever heard of that? And if so, what do you think? Should that be allowed? I mean, to patients in the stage where they're getting, stainless steel, what you do when they're at that point where MC has to step in and say, "I'm your last hope."
You're dealing with unregulated growth, and the body is going through a lot of stress at that point, especially when you're in the later stages of cancer. Will high doses of vitamin C cure the cancer? No, it won't cure the cancer. Will it cause the body's effectiveness to grow up? Possibly. All right, because your body is going to be trying to combat the cancer as well. All right, but it won't be able to defend off a cancerous tumor. All right, by itself with just vitamin C. That's just not going to happen.
All right, and this is good. Yes, quiet, absolutely. But I must say, after quiet, or if anyone else has a follow-up, I will restrain myself until if MC is willing to come back. I'm sure you are too. Listen, I'm done kissing your ass, and bitch, if you just want to be another guy. But I'll say this, MC, I have a certain amount of respect for you. If that comes through in a certain way, well, it's because in my actual life that no one really knows much about, I pray to God, I have had to be around, and got to be around is a better way to say it, people that are respect worthy. And when you you don't just go up and say, "What up, dog? How you doing, dude? We got to shoot some," you don't do that with people that have actually devoted their life to certain things. So no vitamin C, maybe vitamin C. And then at the end of this, when Quiet asked this question,
No,
you
once
said
again, vitamin
and,
C.
and Quiet,
again,
and then we're going to end the cancer talk and go on. How you doing, Britt? I see.
Right.
We'll talk about whatever.
I'll answer Quiet's question in just a second. I want to go back to this vitamin C thing. It's not saying vitamin C can't be helpful to the body, because it can be, all right? But it's not going to, quote unquote, cure cancer, all right? That's not the same thing as saying that it won't help, all right, and that it can increase some of the other body functions that are necessary. Well, cancer is unregulated growth. If you have an unregulated growth, all right, what does the body need, or what does the cancer need? What does the tumor need? All right, it needs all the energy. It needs all the elements that it needs to grow. All right, consequently, it robs the other healthy tissue around it. All right, for those elements that it needs, for the energy that it needs. All right, vitamin C can, all right, be part of a replenishment for the healthy cells, all right, to prevent them from weakening. All right, so I'm not saying that vitamin C doesn't have an effect, all right, on the body. It just doesn't have a negative enough effect on the tumor growth, all right, to cure any kind of tumor volume.
All right. And Quiet, ask your question. We're going to wrap, because listen, I would press you more, but like I said, Britisher just showed up. I'm sure there's so much happening in politics right now. And if we can all just not be an ogre like me and just talk about it, we could probably get a really good conversation going for about 45 minutes about what's going on in the world. So Quiet, what did I cut you off about?
Oh, I was just going to ask if cancer, and I know this is true, it's, a growing thing of your body. So my one question, very short answered, how can the body fight that itself?
Well, the body can fights it through several different means. All right, one of which is the body has to recognize, and sometimes does recognize, that the cell is no longer functioning correctly, and therefore is an alien. All right, and will actually its normal normal anti-rejection of that kind of stuff of foreign bodies can actually take effect, and it'll treat the cell at times as if it were a disease, all right, and actually cure it that way. That does happen from time to time. Your body does look out for that. It's not like everything else, it's not 100% effective. One of the treatments that they had looked into that doesn't, it theoretically holds promise, but we haven't been able to harness it yet, is creating a drug that will target the growth cells and basically put a marker in there that triggers the antibiotic response. But while there's been some trials in tissue samples, it's never gone beyond that.
Okay, yeah, that was, I don't know, it's always been on the back of my mind, and I never actually, fucking knew about that, so thank you.
You're welcome. But it all comes down to the fact that a cell, for example, if you get a cancerous cell that's from liver cancer, right, and let's say it metastasizes, which is the spread through other parts of the body. Let's say it metastasizes and ends up in your leg. All right, it still retains the genetic, the cell itself is still a liver cell. All right, so it retains all the properties of a liver cell. All right, how resistant it is to various drugs, how resistant it is to various types of radiation, etc. All right, this is why when it metastasizes, when cancer metastasizes, depending upon where it ends up or where it locates itself, why it can be fairly easy to treat or very difficult to treat. Because if it ends up near a sensitive organ, such as your nerve tissue, for example, is very sensitive to doses of radiation. Your lung tissue is very robust. I mean, you can give your lung tissue a lot of radiation without actually damaging the cells at all. All right. So if you're going to try and treat lung tissue that's next to some kind of nerve tissue, you've got a problem, because you've got to limit the kind of damage that the nerve tissue is going to going to get.
Are you saying it's okay if I smoke because the lung tissue are very? I'm sorry, I'm eating.
I'm not saying it's okay to smoke or that you won't get a higher degree of cancer because of smoking, because the tissue is so large. If it wasn't so large, all right, you would, if it wasn't such a robust tissue, we would get lung cancer far more often just from daily life.
That's cool. I was just trying to be a jerk too. I'm eating pizza.
Well, the same thing applies to skin cancer. Everyone talks about melanoma and how deadly melanoma is. Melanoma is actually fairly easy to treat while it's in the skin. It's when it metastasizes and gets inside the body where it becomes difficult. And the reason why it's easy to treat at the top of the skin is that we have electron therapy, for example, which doesn't go very deep. All right, that you can give it a lot of radiation and kill the tumor volume right then and there without damaging the rest of the tissue, because it doesn't travel deep enough to actually get the tissue underneath. However, if it metastasizes and then ends up near a lung or something like that, or even like the heart or anywhere else, now you can't use some forms of treatment, because obviously radiation would not be effective.
Okay.
Kick ass.
You are a vast well of knowledge, but I'm gonna say let's get out of this cancer talk. I know you know you're well.
Yeah, because I'm just finishing eating and quiet. I couldn't agree more.
Hi, Britisher.
It's very, very cool. I'm gonna plug my headphones back in. But in the end, we don't want to meet MCJK. I mean, the only way you want to meet him is having like 3 fingers of scotch. You don't want him walking into your hospital room.
Oh, yeah, no. He'll just make you feel retarded.
And you're fucked. You're
Mr. Ogre.
He's there.
Hello, Britisher. Good to see you.
Good evening, everyone.
Fully American, bro. Sorry.
Fucking olives on pizza. Sinful. Doing well. You know, except talking about cancer and just slowly breaking away at my soul.
Yes.
I'm sorry.
Yes, I thought I'd walked into a rather grim moment when I came in, and I realized the topic was cancer.
I asked him the leading questions, and me and actually Quiet did. But you know what? It is good to know that there's people out there that know this stuff and are actually working on it. It is good. Yep, that's all I had. I'm swallowing, Brett.
Yeah, it's good to know, but damn, it just breaks away at your morale.
Oh, so for something much happier, how about them Islamists, man, and how they're blowing our shit up?
Oh, way to go. Yeah, we go from cancer to fucking Islam.
I'm not even kidding. Jeremy is, and I don't know, I can't say what exactly is going on, but Brett, you actually may know, and something happened, and he is having to now redouble efforts on, I can't say much, but he's having some issues that are not social that he's dealing with right now. So Jeremy's not here, but I gotta say, man, this is going on and on and on, and I feel like it's all right. Everybody remember when Bill Clinton got a blowjob in the Oval Office? Everybody remember that?
Well, I remember it. I just didn't care.
Time, but I've heard of it.
Well, and then he blew up an aspirin factory. I feel like this is the reverse of that. It's like there is nothing going on in the Oval Office that's bad, untoward. And now we got to focus on all this stuff. And I'm starting to ask myself, Britisher MCJK, here's where I get speared by my friends. Was that a false flag operation in Great Britain? Did that have something to do with the government?
The attack on the Manchester Arena.
Yes, sir. I can't get no more crazy than that and just come out and ask it.
No.
Why would it be?
Well, because the Hegelian dialectic.
What question is that?
Oh, I'm not going to say I'm retarded. I'm just going to say I think a lot about stuff. And I would say that the Hegelian dialectic would say that problem, reaction, solution. They would say thesis, antithesis, synthesis. And they would say that we would do whatever it takes if that means we could get control. And all I've heard, Britisher, Zero, everybody here, all I've heard is, oh, maybe we should have had more security. And I will say anybody that would sacrifice liberty for security deserves neither. That's why I'm going.
Well, but you're talking a difference when you say security. They're talking about security for those events, and I don't think you can place that in the same category.
I talked for a while, MC, everybody. So y'all see what devil's advocate I'm trying to play, and everyone should know me by now and know that I will play both sides of the flat earth. I'll play both sides of everything. So you don't know what I really feel. I'm just asking the question that may be on some people's minds. Was this something that someone did so they could have more control over us?
I totally paying taxes for police, security, whatever. It's when they get into your fucking personal life, I'm like, hey, you have no fucking business here. Security? Yeah. We need more security. If you can bring a fucking pipe bomb with nails into a concert with children, there's a problem.
Well, they actually didn't bring it into the concert. They attacked the avenues of when they were leaving.
And last warning, I'll come on and I'll break in with a wrap up. But last warning,
was that, Britisher?
This is what I want to hear.
The guy actually came into the foyer, so yes, there was no need for him to pass any security because he wasn't actually in the concert area, so to speak.
Oh, okay. So that's just my ignorance. I will retract my statement.
It's kind of like if you
other people to be coming out, and then he blew himself up.
One of the things that's always worried me about would be an easy target is during Christmas and Thanksgiving timeframe, is you could easily drive up to almost any major U.S. airport and see the long security lines that are snaked out front, and then do damage to attack those where a lot of people are congregating.
Didn't some terrorists do that in Turkey, where I believe there was a large number of people queuing outside, and they blew.
Yeah, I think there was
either Ankara or Istanbul.
Did it happen during Thanksgiving? Because that would be very ironic, or at least coincidental.
I don't think it was during Thanksgiving. No. I'm not sure.
Yeah, and I'm not. And Thanksgiving only hit. Yeah, I don't. Right, I'm laughing too because Thanksgiving is an American thing. Even Canadians.
Oh, come on! It's a fucking joke.
Yeah, I know. No, that was funny too. I'll just say, look, and remember this: a devil's advocate. So we have listen, Britisher. I'm not going to press you too hard, but I've listened to your piece on this now 3 times, and it's fucking 10 minutes long, brother.
The thing about all
I spent 30 minutes listening to what, and would you say that we need to have now more security outside of the arena because they didn't catch it before it came in? Okay, so please expand on that just a wee bit, so I don't have to pressure.
No, I'm not arguing in a way that we need more state in that regard in all of us. What I tend to question in that video is whether we are by now at a point where we need to abandon the principle of non-discrimination on the basis of religion. But basically, we all know from which group this is, strictly speaking, coming. And
I get bitched at for being a Catholic. Why don't Muslims get bitched at? Oh, Islamophobia.
Yeah, precisely. But the state is also really hindered in its ability to actually, really look at things. Or, for example, when it comes to bans on immigration, because strictly speaking, it is obliged to treat all religions the same.
Right. Well, it may have to treat all religions the same, but we shouldn't be treating all regions the same. We don't need to treat Syrians the same as we treat, Botswanans, nor the French or Germans or anything else. And I think that's one of the things
that's a kind of semantic exercise of saying Muslim without saying Muslim, isn't it?
Well, no, it's talking about the cultural regions where this problem stems from. The problem isn't so. You can say that it's Islam in the fact that Islam is part of the Arabic culture. And the Arabic culture, all right, is a 12th century mentality with modern weaponry. It was the same thing with the Japanese when it came to Shintoism. Shintoism you know,
how many
Go ahead.
Muslim countries are there really these days from which some terrorism hasn't emerged?
well, I think that when you talk about emerged, I think it's more like a metastasized into, and the areas that it metastasizes into are into the Islamic cultures because they have a ready-made portal there for them to go into.
So, Zero Cool, what would you say your favorite restaurant is?
I was about to go to this.
I was like, if you want something a bit more upbeat, there was that Jordan Peterson tweet that I put in the links.
Hey, quiet! You're $5 in the mail, by the way. Thank you, sir. You're $5 in the mail for that. Very good. Very good.
Because yeah, he put that tweet up, and I saw it, and it really made me laugh out loud. And if you then actually look at the document he's referring to, you cannot help but laugh.
Yeah, I was reading the document, as you know, as y'all were talking about that. I was listening, but I was splitting and everybody knows that. Look, am I sexist to say that males cannot multitask like females? I know that is a fact because I know too many females. They could be like, yeah, blah blah blah, while they're talking. They're typing, and with one hand, and with the other hand, they're writing the shopping list, and with a pinky, they're scratching out the budget for the month. So
people actually did a study because of their talent with multitasking. They're actually worse drivers.
Yeah, my mom used to read fucking novels quiet. We used to go from Louisville, Kentucky to Cumberland, Maryland, where I was born and raised, to where my mom was born and raised. And I tell you what, on the way through coal country in her a 1979 Honda Civic that would go 110 mile an hour with ease, man. Them some bitch with 5 speeds. Anyway, she would be reading a fucking novel. She was like this. She would get like this. Here's the road. Here's the book. She'd go like. And I was even though when I first realized she was doing that, I was about 6. Even then I was like, holy fuck, this is terrifying. Mother, would you please? And yes, so multitasking is a real thing.
Just fucking look at the road. Jesus Christ, you're doing one thing. One thing. There is no need to do multiple.
No need to do it. Yes. So that can be good or bad in many different ways. But Britisher, I'm going to pop this back up because I exited out the actual little tweet, and what it is it's just what can possibly be said to satirize this that's not already said in the text. So it's such a big chunk, unless somebody wants to read this, which we're not gonna. I'm just gonna tweet this. Wait. I'm gonna message this tweet out.
You will twit. You will twit it.
I'm going to twit it out. So I'll say this.
Speaking, the only thing that the one thing that matters is the area which is highlighted, isn't it? And I think that's really only one sentence.
Yeah, very much so. In fact, I can go right back there. Let me I'll get it up then, Britisher. Watch this.
Here I can read this out on what I've got on screen here.
Do it. I'll highlight it.
I draw on recent pioneering scholarship in tranimalities, Donna Haraway's work on apes and the sly logic of these performances themselves, in order to sketch out the outlines of a theory of simian feminism, a politics that makes an ambivalent virtue of the exclusion of women and animals from the category of the human itself. So simian feminism. So that is no monkey.
Can we all just agree that whenever the Britisher speaks, it's like word porn?
Yeah, it kind of is, but let's focus on this for now. Quiet. Yes, it is. That's why he does poetry for beautiful young women. But I will say that what you just said, sir, from Peterson's pen, I mean, come on, man. And it shows how intelligent the guy is, how deep
he basically said this is beyond satire now. That basically it has got so insane what some of these people are coming out with. So now there is monkey feminism.
Monkey feminism.
Well, simian feminism, that's what it means.
You racist.
And he said, and it's killing me, Britisher, because what he's done here is a seething rebuke. Would you agree with that?
Along those lines, but then
It's a seething rebuke, but he did it in such
Peterson is
academic words that it sounds benign, and it's actually like, fuck, this is stupid.
What is it? What can possibly be said to satirize this that is not already in the text itself? That's what he basically.
Yeah. He was saying this is satire in and of itself, and it's being passed off as reality in academia. Look, I'll go back every time, Britisher, to Jordan Peterson sitting in an auditorium that someone paid him to sit in, and having papers and spittle and insults hurled at him while he held the mic. And I'm not even like I'm talking. He's like, well, of course, I'm not going to just change my gender pronouns to appease a young person and boo, boo, you fucking racist. The whole time he's just like, no, because that would actually be hurting them. And I'll be putting them in a state of arrested development. You fucking racist piece of, and never changed. To me, next to Jesus, I've never seen anybody take, and I didn't see Jesus, so I'll just say I've never seen anybody take shit like he did.
Well, yeah,
I'm going to college to take gender studies. You guys, you don't know what you're talking about.
Well, I mean, I remember seeing, I think I remember seeing the same clip, the one that you referred to, where he just basically gets an unbelievable amount of aggravation. And you at times cannot hear what he's saying. And I think he kind of sits down, doesn't he? And he kind of crosses his arms over his chest, still holding the microphone, and just keeps on going in the same tone, doesn't he, Ogre?
Yes, like nothing happened. I mean, in fact, they don't stop. They never
Zero
stop.
Cool lives.
I just, man, that guy, and of everyone that I know right now, Britisher, he's the most reasonable, the strongest mentally person I can't imagine that, Britt. If I knew I was right, it's not even a question of I've done, nothing is in question. I'm just absolutely academically, morally, spiritually, intellectually, reasonably correct. And there is a horde of unreasonable, unacademic, everything I said, they are anti, and to just sit there in the face of that, he's my hero. I got to say it right now.
Yeah, he's a worthwhile hero to have. Yes, but you can see at times that he is kind of his credulity is straining at the seams at just how extreme some of this is getting. And I think when we come to simian feminism, we really are reaching the outer limits.
Well, if I was a praying man, if I was to pray, I would put him on my prayer list. If I was to meditate, I would meditate on his virtues. If I was a complete agnostic and an atheist, I would consider him a great man.
Well, I mean,
let's get a Conchal character. I'm sorry, I always butcher his name. Let's get him in here.
Yeah, I think I just sent him the link. I've been thinking about this stuff, and look, I'm not even gonna lie. This was not there he is. This is not a totally planned thing. And today, I'm not even going to, I'll just start with this. The beginning of my morning, when the sun was cracking, and what I mean by that, it was still dark for 45 minutes because my first rooster had not crowed yet. And they start crowing about 30 minutes before sunrise, before twilight in the sunrise. And I was
still
out
alive.
Yeah, them sons of, yeah, I don't want to talk about it. Yes, all of them. Fuck yes, all of them. I made a decision when I got them on what I wanted to do, and I am observing a flock and
Eat them.
seeing
That's what you do.
Different inputs, what will happen to them, and I'm also breeding this flock. And so the idea right now, Britisher, before my first hen has stopped laying her 4 years worth of eggs and I can observe her and breed her, is abhorrent to me, and I will not do it. So I was out for 3 hours this morning mending fences and trying to make a certain section of my land chicken proof, and that's very difficult. Anybody that can do it, please send me how to do it. I would love that.
All I know is
too many coyotes.
All I know is that the first time a rooster would crow half an hour before sunrise, would be the last time that rooster would crow.
Oh, but they're about 70 meters from my house in a chicken coop. So if you put the two walls of the chicken coop, my house is 70 meters. So for anybody that don't know, that's 200. It's a 210 feet away from almost a football field. I don't hear them. My neighbors do, though. And they're probably pissed because I'm containing them right now, but I still have 12 roosters. And on top of that, I love you, neighbors, but
well, I think if you have chickens in those kind of environments, you're generally up at those times anyway, working on something.
Well, and all that mockery that I just did. Yeah, my neighbors moved up here. I did take a picture. I just didn't send it to you yet. I want you to see my backyard. I mean, my nearest neighbor is a long ways away, but you'd be surprised what the fucking chickens will just they go a long way, and they're very inquisitive and they're very destructive. One chicken will dig a hole the size of its. Look, I'm getting off track. I've got too many chickens on my mind, and
cows are more annoying. You can hear them miles away.
Well, and the king would say cows are the stupid. Like I said, we're going off in the wrong direction, quiet. But thank you for
deers.
No, they're stupid. They're dumb.
They're
cows
stupid. They're like
need to be killed and eaten, and fuck them. They're like, oh, they're in a feedlot. I hear a bubbler going. I'm going to get my bubbler going. So look, Islam sucks. Cows are stupid. Chickens will destroy your shit. And what else we talk about? So, hey, how y'all doing? This was unplanned. I'm just sober for 7 days, and I even on my little break, I did a little live stream, British, and I played some songs.
You said you were drinking ale.
Drinking Adam's ale, mate.
What
water.
the fuck is the? Oh, you bastard! And I said you were drinking good shit. You made
I haven't
me
had.
a
Don't
liar.
fucking
Use
me,
your Obamacare.
I haven't had a fucking drink in 7 days. I'm ready to fucking choke myself to death. I know. When I look at my hands already there.
Hey, quiet. Go use your Obamacare and get a goddamn hearing aid. He said Adam's ale like 5 times.
Adam's.
Thank
I
God,
heard
thank
ale.
God.
I didn't give a fuck if it's Adam's ale or anything.
Let's see, that's why I said getting a hearing aid.
And quiet. I've known you for a good month. I know you're drunk all the time, and you've never offended
That's
me.
about accurate.
So you're a great guy. So you can drink all you want. Me, if I get drunk, I'll whip my willy out and moon everybody. It's obvious. You can see. It's just.
I'm never drunk. That's just a lie.
That's exactly what an alcoholic would say.
Quiet. That's even the same hat. You're a bad motherfucker. All right. So look, he saved us twice now. So I don't know, Britt. We're going to talk with Scott Pressler tomorrow. And yes, maybe I was a little low this morning. It's only because I've been up and working that whole time for the last 7 days. If I haven't been sleeping, I've been working.
Well, it's because you've got roosters going off half an hour before sunrise. I mean, everyone would be depressed.
No, it's pretty much because if I don't do that, I will drink booze. I have two choices: stay occupied or drink booze. And to anybody out there that feels
I see no problem with that.
And that's fine, Quiet. But to anybody out there that wants to quit, not like Quiet, if he's happy, then be happy. He's actually a nice guy even when he's drunk. If you're not, or if you need to quit, my suggestion to you is don't depend on AA. What if you can't make it to the meeting? Don't depend on. My suggestion to you folks is to idle hands are the devil's playground. Keep yourself busy and you'll be able to do what's right.
My suggestion is get any of the help that you need, whether it's AA, whether it's anything. To find what works for you. It won't work because no matter what program you take, it won't work for everyone. So find the one that works for you and stick with it.
Yeah, you need to actually care. And I will never say quitting is not an option. If you actually care, it's a good thing. And if it's a health issue, quit. It's honestly good for you.
Well, I honestly thought you were going to say you didn't care. We're going to say you weren't going to care.
Well, no, I love to joke about it, but honestly, if it does get in the way of your life, nah, you should care.
Well, that pretty much rounds about to what we were talking about prior to everybody jumping in: bad habits and how they hinder our progress as people, doesn't it, Ogre?
Oh,
yeah. Totally. Yeah, that's how we jumped onto this. And it could be a bad habit. There's so many bad habits. You could look at, of course, everybody thinks of, heroin or booze or whatever, but you could have a bad habit of thinking too much of yourself or not thinking enough. or Twitter or Facebook. I mean, there's so many different things. And I believe this. If know yourself and know your enemy, and there'll never be anything to fear.
No, I totally agree with that. Personal responsibility.
Which, if you're getting a feminist, if you're going into college for gender studies, you apparently have zero personal responsibilities.
You have zero free will too.
Yep.
If you're a man, you don't have any free will, and if you're a woman, you have no responsibility for anything that you do.
That's why people that accept personal responsibility are not feminists. Third wave feminist is pretty much cancer. Oh my God, you're a white cis man.
What are you talking about?
Evil.
Third wave feminist feminism, since it began, in my opinion,
cancer.
The real has been close to that. Now, I'm not talking about the wanting the right to vote. Okay, what I'm talking about is when they came up with the idea of trying to force social change, all right, to make men act more like women. And that started way back before third wave feminist, or fourth wave feminist.
Okay, first
wave
wave
we're on now.
feminism was okay because they actually did go, equality for women and men. That was
but
chill.
what did they say? What was one of the things that they pushed? One of the big things that they pushed was to sit up there and not teach your children, your male children. All right, don't sit up there and tell them big boys don't cry. Treat them just the same way, all right, as you would your girl. And as a result, a lot of these people, all right, a lot of these male children never learn to control their emotions, and when they get slapped by their girlfriend, slug the girlfriend back and put her on the floor. If you want to talk about the damage that's been done to our society just because of stupid and foolish actions, all right, by people who did things with unattended consequences and aren't at all willing to look back and say, maybe we should have thought some of this stuff through a little bit more. All right. They still don't think about it. They still don't think that they had any effect in this, in the way our country, in the way, or not country, but society has devolved in many ways.
Yeah. Well, that little old lady right there, I'll tell you one thing, man. If it's done, MC, because there was a time when that woman right there, the nice looking old lady that's probably about 70 years old in that picture. If I came to her crying and weeping over nothing,
she would have told you to grow some balls.
No, she would have beat my ass.
That's what I said.
She would have looked at me and went, she'd like to do this. She would raise her hand like in benediction. And when you looked at her hand, it would drop on your face. And she was 4 foot. I want to say 4'9". She liked to brag that she was one inch above being a midget. And
actual
it's gone. It's gone. Grandmas can't beat the shit out of their grandchildren anymore for being punks anymore, and it should be.
Actual feminists
like
my
that I want if they act
mother,
like an asshole.
She told me if a girl hits me, I should fucking hit back because, well, guess what? They want to be treated equal. Treat them equally.
That's damn right.
Oh, my grandma,
but
if a girl punched me and I didn't punch back, she'd beat my ass. That's how my grandma. Everybody's equal.
You get a woman right now, especially with as old as I think most of us are. We can actually hurt somebody. I mean, physically harm them. We don't want to be encouraging that kind of stuff.
No, if someone hits me, I'll hit back. I will encourage that. I will teach my children that.
I think that's a road that we don't want to go down because it can have unintended consequences.
What about the road that we went down in 1975, exactly near 42 years of my birth, to where it was the Supreme Court basically said, "Oh, it's okay to have an abortion." What about that road? That everybody's like, "Oh, this is a morality slippery slope." Our country has slid down that slope for the past near 42 years, and
I'm
everybody
against
thinks
abortion.
I'm not asking anybody's opinion on this. I'm simply stating a fact of, if you want to talk about slippery slopes and moral, what have we been doing since 1975?
The problem with the abortion ruling was that it was not done anything through legislation. It was done to the Supreme Court, which is why in the United States it'll continue to be an issue.
Is everyone's hearing still okay after that?
No, my virgin ears.
Why don't you turn your hearing aid down there, Britisher, if you're so goddamn old?
Oh, man.
Down 0 down.
Dang, man. I don't know what to say about that, you dickhead.
Well, you wanted your rant, Ogre. There you go.
No, it was good, but he's, I don't know what else to say.
Hey, buddy.
No, I love it. Please bring it on. Don't
Hey,
be
guys.
a fucking cocksucker. How you doing there, Wolf Shot? I didn't know you were going to be here today. And
Yeah.
whoever shot you out the link, I appreciate it, but ask me first. Oh, yeah, okay. Well, please ask me first from now on. There actually has been some people, believe it or not, that have given the link out to folks that actually later on did dickhead moves. So I would prefer to be in control of that in the future.
No problem,
Before I would just set it up. But you know what, CC, if I actually would have known it was you, I probably wouldn't have said anything but on the side. I appreciate it. And Wolf Shot, I would have sent you the link anyway. So what's up, girl? Did you hear what we were talking about? Are we crazy old men? And you have some feminism to bring to us?
Feminism, like what are we in context?
It was a total joke.
Hitting Winham.
I actually think I know
Hitting
enough about
women.
you to
Is
to
that
think
okay?
that,
Yeah, no, I thought the panel needed at least one female.
yeah, and it was
At
it was
least
it was just a
one.
joke. I have to say it out loud where everybody can hear me. I just from what I've tweeted with you and stuff so far, I kind of figured that would be funny to you because I would go this far. MCJK, when we didn't need suffrage, women had more control before suffrage than they do now. Before suffrage, if I was to spit on the sidewalk in front of Wolf Shot and I didn't go, "Oh, I didn't see you, ma'am," and beg her forgiveness, some dude around there would grab me by the beard, jerk me out in the street, and I would have some accounting to do.
I'll
And
jerk
now,
you in the street.
It's like we're trying to make this fairness. No, women are supposed to be held on a pedestal. They're supposed to be held to different standards. They're supposed to make the rules in the house.
There's
They're
a difference
supposed to beat
between
your
different
ass with a
standards and a
broomstick
pedestal.
if you
know
don't
that, right?
follow the rooms. What? Hang on, let me finish and then I'll answer your questions, dude. But what I'm trying to say is, in the old days, we put them on a pedestal whether they were supposed to be there or not. When they made the rules in the house, you took your hat off, or Grandma Orson came around from behind the corner and hit you in the face with a broom if you've done it more than 2 or 3 times. And you said, "Oh, sorry, ma'am." And if you dare do much more than that, you would get fucked up by the guys that were there and now we're degraded into. So what was that? You kind of made me lose my train of thought, but what was that, Zero Cool? We are moving from a matriarchy into an egalitarian society, which I don't agree with. I think it was better when it was a matriarchy.
I just simply pinpointed that, and you did correct yourself that you do know there's a difference between different standards and putting a person on a pedestal. No,
Well, but that's what they.
No
right,
one person should be put in a pedestal.
I'm just using their words because I've been called gynocentric. I was on the honey badger thing not too long ago, like 3 months ago, 2 months, whatever. I was on the honey badger deal, and I thought I was going to fit right in there. I had my cowboy hat on and a suit, and they were like, "Look at this gynocentric piece of shit. He's wearing a suit." I mean, you'd think it was like girls talking about wearing high heels. Because I chose to wear a suit and a tie, I had some social construct on to these MRE maniacs.
Well, you can't help that you have standards.
Amen. Amen. Because the British are busting my balls not too long ago, and it was fair because there was a time where I don't know, it could have been guys. I have no idea who it was, but people in the chat would be like, "Flex your muscles," and I would put on like a muscle shirt, a vest, and the British was like, "Really, Mr. Ogre?" He was actually like, "Really, Mr. Ogre?" Something like that. But he would say, "Would you do that in public?" No, the answer is no. So why on earth would I do it where anybody on earth could come and see me do it? So you notice I don't do that anymore. But yes, there's a difference between pedestal and other things. And I don't like the fact that we're moving from a matriarchy into an egalitarian society. And it's actually going into some kind of weird, I don't know. Has anybody heard, Britisher, have you listened to Sargon of Akkad's book? He had a short story about a guy that's oppressed in an office and there's these women. It's like in a future dystopia. Have you ever listened to that?
No, I haven't.
I'm going to have to send you a link, bro. Because I'll tell you what, he is kind of a Renaissance man to me. I don't know what else he's written, but that short story, the only thing I can compare it to is a band called Rush wrote a song called Red Barchetta. And that was based on a short story about a time when gasoline motors were illegal and where the only thing you could drive is these big, huge electric cars that you could get into a head-on accident at 50 miles an hour, no problem. But you couldn't have and the red Barchetta in the story was actually a Triumph Spitfire, Brett. You should like that. And it was actually, he was like, he went to see his uncle, and I'll go off on a tangent on this. But the time is coming where people are going to say to me, Britisher and panel MC, oh, you like your big 4-door Mercury Marquis. You know, it's a 2006. It's getting old, man. It really is. I still look at it as like it's the apple of my eye. I love my car. Britisher, I've sent you pictures of it. I actually love my car. And people are going to probably look at me and tell me that I can't have it anymore. And I trace it all back to this idea, not feminism.
White privilege.
Yeah. Well, and not even, it's to the idea that what I think is better than you, and I'll shut up now. We can't dictate what other people do.
No, I'm completely agreement. I think we're witnessing a big tug of war between people with libertarian values and people with authoritarian values. I guess that's how I see it. It's a battle between people that want to control and people who want their freedom.
So,
It's a strict countdown to extinction, and it's always fun until somebody gets hurt.
Well, is it that, or is it that a new political front line is opening up? So that previously it was always left against right, and now we are beginning to see the emergence of a kind of new battle line, which
Like
is
a political
effectively
class.
authoritarianism versus liberalism, so to speak.
Yes, yeah. Because the thing is, with the authoritarians, is that a lot of their ideas can't stand up to scrutiny, so they need the government to enforce their ideas. They suffer in the free marketplace.
So my idea of feminism, being a woman, so I believe in equality, and I believe that women shouldn't be put up on a pedestal. I believe that everyone should be held accountable, no matter what sex they are, etc. But I will say, like, when I go out on a date, I will pay for her food. I'll take her to a movie. I'll bring her flowers, walk her up to her door, and not expect anything afterwards. So I really don't know where I fall into feminism. I've been called a feminazi before, just from defending, hey, yeah, this woman should be in the Marines on merit, or in the military on merit, not because they lowered the standards for her.
So when I try to buy girls dinner or buy them, flowers, I'm misogynistic.
No.
Okay, then I can agree with you.
Not at all.
Then I can agree with you. It's the other type that are just fucking Nazis that are like, oh, we can't do that ourselves. No,
Open a door,
I'm trying to do you, a nice thing.
And this is killing me because this is like one of my sore points. So I open a door. I mean, it's just like Quiet said. I can't even expound on it anymore. It makes me sick. I like to dote on women. I don't care if you're fat, ugly, beautiful, skinny, in between. I don't give a fuck. If you got a vagina and you may one day or have already given birth to children, I will open a door for you. I will say, good morning, sweetness, and smile my best ogre smile. I may even flirt with you if I mean it or not.
Yeah,
if I can just direct your attention to the chat, Mad Dodge Productions just said Russia would love for NATO to be disbanded. What is the panel's views on this?
Well, I think primarily Russia wants to join NATO.
Okay.
I don't know.
They've already tried about 3 times.
Next comment is they would try to fill the power void. Which I don't necessarily agree with. I would think that the power void in the absence of the UN, hypothetically, I would rather
the only
say
power Russia has is nuclear weapons. They got one MCJK. Let me know this. They have one aircraft carrier. They really don't have much of a military.
But I think in his hypothetical situation where NATO is disbanded, I don't think a single country would replace it. I think it would be a new coalition, maybe, for example, between Russia, China, and whatever.
I
That
don't
could
know
also be
anything
possible.
of it, so I can't say anything about it.
I think I'm more in agreement with the Britisher. All right. First of all, Russia. I wouldn't say Russia doesn't have a military. I mean, I was talking about China actually when I was mentioning that. They don't have a extraordinarily strong navy, and it's very limited because their access to deep water is limited. Even what the destroyer that they put off the coast of Syria had to go through the Bosphorus Straits, which is obviously a choke point, that can be blocked very easily. But when it comes to armor, Russia has a lot of it. And the armor, while it's not necessarily as good as, the the Western tanks, is still very formidable. All right. And the sheer numbers that they have, all right, can be daunting. All right. Now they don't have the personnel numbers that China does, but they still got, close to, not quite, but close to 1 billion people in Russia. So it isn't insignificant. And of course, any attack on the Russian homeland, all right, means you'd have to take massive amounts of land mass, which is always the most daunting task whenever you're trying to actually fight Russia historically, is they just pull back until the sheer mass of the country weighs you down and prevents you from the in an attempt to control it. So I don't think that to say that they're not militarily capable, I think is somewhat foolish.
Well, and this is very poignant what Britisher just said. There's only 144.1 million people.
Oh, really? I thought their population was higher than that.
In Russia, and I was only 3/4 of the way paying attention. So if you said different, that's okay. But what I'm saying is, okay, you did say they only had one aircraft carrier, and that's what I remembered. MC, if they have a great military, I just remembered that. But what you did do was you helped me understand that Russia is not the great big boogeyman, even if I didn't remember all your facts correctly.
Well, I think you need to understand that Russia is largely regarded as a kind of giant in terms of being almost on a biblical scale unconquerable. If you venture into Russia, as, two heavyweights have already done previously in history, you will come off worse for it.
They just got defeated by a season.
Yes, yeah. But I mean, if you know how to use your terrain and your seasons to your advantage, then, well, yes. But as such, they're not really in the game of projecting power. I know they're active now in Syria, but that's because they've got a harbor down there, and it's an old ally of theirs. But they are not really the people who could, for example, in the space of 1 or 2 months, prepare a war off Sri Lanka.
Yeah.
Whereas the United States of America could do that.
Talking about invading Russia, I read the other day, and the people on the panel with better historical knowledge are going to have to correct me, that the invasion was completely Hitler's idea. Like, it was a personal choice. He was advised against it by most of his generals.
There is nothing to argue. That's true.
Yeah, he wanted to fight a two-front war.
Yeah.
Well, it was all about his Lebensraum, wasn't it? And at the same time, he also realized at that time that the Russian army was severely weakened because of Stalin's purges.
But wasn't that due to him? Because all the Germans that lived in Austria, I mean, they needed a little living room. I mean, they were very cloistered. No, never mind. I tried.
The term Lebensraum was more in the aspect that they thought of the Slavs as subhumans, as slaves.
Oh, but that just
Not
means living
subhuman, just
it
lesser
always
people.
goes back. It always goes
yeah, zero help, because that's not all the other. All I will say is that's what Hitler probably meant, and maybe his the ruling class at the time. But the people thought that they meant, well, there were a lot of German speaking people in Poland and Yugoslavia and especially Austria was, I think, all German, and so they were just saying that, hey, pretty much this is why I'm saying this. If anybody don't realize, I mean, look at Israel, man. You know, it was pretty much the same thing. They were saying, look, the West Bank, well, we got a lot of, settlements. I'll shut up now.
No,
Well,
interesting,
no, I mean, when it
interesting
comes
thing
to
that
the-
you. Oh, yeah,
Sorry.
Risha, you can finish.
No,
Right,
when
go
it
for
comes to the West Bank, when it comes to Israel and whatever, I mean, that was due to wars with the Arabs. I mean, it wasn't really that Israel set out to conquer the West Bank. If you know what I
Of
mean.
course not.
Depends
That
upon
was,
who you talk to.
Islam.
And in fact, pretty sure there's people. Look, what happens, if you want my opinion, what happens is, if you and I, or I don't want to use you and I, if I and someone else are at a bar and I don't like the way they look, well, there's many things I can do to initiate a confrontation. I could maybe initiate the kind of confrontation that would allow a swing to be taken at me and for me to counter with a few well-placed plays. In fact, Count Dankula has and maybe I don't know how he got the black eye. I just know from many a fight myself that if that's what you got, chances are he probably beat the other guy's ass. He may have goaded that, which looks to me very much like a right hook. He may have goaded that in order to get his left in there and to, anyway, you see what I mean? So yes, you can look at it that way with Israel, but you can also look at that the Jewish folk in Israel are very cunning.
True, but I mean, it was a known fact that at that time the various Arab countries were massing troops and tanks on their border.
Oh, the anniversary is coming up for the 6-Day War, brother. I think it's tomorrow.
Well, that all happened. The 6-Day War happened because the UN pulled out of the buffer, and Nasser, who had been saber rallying for pan-Arabism, frankly scared the Israelis enough to believe that he was actually prepping for a war, which is why the attack took everyone by surprise. It was also why, when it happened, the other Arab nations, which weren't prepared for it, came in on the side of Egypt eventually. However, they came in piecemeal, which allowed the Israelis to defeat them as they one at a time, rather than take them all on at once.
And before I get hate mail, it's June 5th. Sorry. It's June 5th. So I knew it was coming up close because
the interesting thing that why I initially brought it up is the fact that is the will of one man changing the course of human history. And I can't remember who said it, but I think maybe it wasn't someone, maybe it was the tagline to Age of Empires. But I remember this quote of "Will forge an empire," and that I always thought that was the most romantic idea ever.
Yeah, no, there is no such time where one man, Muhammad, has ever said something that totally changed an ideology.
No, of course.
You killed me with that. You killed me. And look,
So,
folks, I'm just going to be honest. Before you continue, we got 8 minutes, folks. So what I want is for Conscious Caracal, and then MC, and after MC, I'll call on. So have your last word, and I'm going to sign off because, folks, it's still sunrise, and I've got a lot of work to do today, man. I got to go get back at it.
Okay, to just sign off, what I saw today was, it looks like Count Dankula is looking a little more positive. He's done an upload and his tweets look more. I think he's not too doom and gloom after his trial. But again, if he's ever listening, I think he knows that we're all behind him, supporting him, and we'll be there to have his back when the day comes, whatever the result.
That's badass. I will say I'm not going to condescend to think that he is listening, but He does watch some of my stuff because the video I did about him, he mentioned it. You know, that it meant he actually, I'm not even going to repeat it. What he said to me lifted my spirits. And I'm hopefully going to play a song on the outro. And if they monetize this or whatever they do, they can kiss my ass because I love the Freedom Song. Oh, so that said, MC, that was beautiful too, CC. We'll have a big time tomorrow. And Britisher will talk. But if there's anyone else that will be there tomorrow, it would be the man that just spoke, because we're going to have Scott Pressler on. Chances are it'll be myself, the Britisher, and Scott Pressler. Why? Because last time he was on there was a ton of people, and he's a political pundit. And I lean a little bit more his direction, and the Britisher leans maybe a little bit, but we're both, and I don't even need to fucking give my reason why. There'll be very few people there.
The thing about politics between the United States and Great Britain is they're so different. You can't describe them the same. Even the term conservative doesn't mean the same thing. It's not even close, to be honest, because I don't ever see the quote unquote Republican conservatives, all right, asking for net neutrality or taking over the internet to try and redesign it. I'm not saying politicians, especially in the bureaucracy, wouldn't want to do it, but I just don't see them saying we're going to do it from a legislative perspective. Maybe that's naiveness on my part.
Stop being smart.
No, that's beautiful. And Quiet, you're next. So make sure that's your last word, MC, because when it goes down the line, which Quiet next, and then a Wolf Shot Zero, and then Britisher to myself. So that's your last word on this. All of this today. So give yourself another good minute, whatever long you want. Just your last wrap up on
that's fine. Go to the next one.
Oh man, you're great. So go ahead, Quiet. Your whole wrap up on today, whatever you want to say.
No, I honestly have nothing. I've enjoyed this the entire time, and yeah, like nothing needs to be said.
You're badass, Quiet. So Wolf Shot, I'm sorry we brung you in here late. It's the patriarchy. You got any last words?
No, not really. I think it'd be for a longer discussion, I think.
All right, and we will have one tomorrow. And
the discourse and the intelligence on the stream.
Yeah, right. Because it's Sunday, man. I don't know. Sometimes we have a really serious, and if I do this, I'll break my own rules. So thank you, Wolf Shot Zero. Cool. Come on, dude. Give me a fucking minute. You did your rant earlier. You've got something. I know you do.
I've actually got nothing. It's a beautiful day in Iowa. My parents are alive and well, and tomorrow is Memorial Day. Thank you to all the veterans who have lived and died and protecting our freedoms to be here and say what we have to say. And if anybody's got a problem with that, kiss my ass. I'm going to quote Wolverine from the X-Men animated series. I go where I want to go, when I want to go, how I want to go, and I'll say what I'm going to say when I'm going to say it. You don't like it, there's the door.
You'll be the only one I press, Zero. Cool. What do you have to say?
Fucking Zero, man.
What do you have?
Awesome.
Yeah, I know he's awesome. So I'm going to press him just a wee bit. Probably the only one I will press. What do you have to say to those people that would say, well, you're honoring people that died in Vietnam and Korea? They died for nothing. Do you have anything you could possibly take as much time as you want to say to those folks?
I'm going to tell you what I was talking to Quiet about last night in private conversation. I'm Gen X. I don't give a shit. I'm often viewed as the apathetic trust fund baby, and I'm not even remotely a trust fund baby, and I have military family. My daughter's going into the Air Force, and overall, people got a problem with people who serve NAM. Fuck you. I don't give a shit. You're part of the hippie generation that was spitting on my relatives when they came back and from a war they couldn't win. That was just a mess and a debacle. You don't respect them. I don't have to respect you. You don't know what they went through, so fuck off.
Thank you so much for saying what I didn't want to say right now. Britisher, is there something you'd like to put a cherry on top of this?
Well, to take inspiration from someone else we both know, no.
All right, so listen.
Oh, God, I love
that was so beautiful. I don't know what to say. He's I would say he stole that, but that was so cool. Thank you so much, Britisher. And thanks to everybody for coming by. And I would just like to say, to put a little bit of whipped cream on top of that cherry, I don't give a fuck what men in uniform died for. You know why? because they didn't give a fuck. They didn't ask nobody why they were there. They didn't take any time to cry on their CO's shoulder. They didn't say, oh, well, we're in Vietnam, or we're in Korea, or we're where the fuck ever in the Falkland Islands for the British. They didn't ask that. They didn't ask to go die for you. Yes, it was for you. Whether or not it was for your freedom or for some madman's whim. So do yourself a favor today. Tomorrow. If you're an American, if you don't know anybody that died that fell, if you don't have any brothers like MC has that gave their ultimate for maybe nothing, then go out and find a gravestone. Put some flowers by it. Get on your knee. Put your hand on the headstone. Look up to the heavens and ask whoever you want to ask if there was rhyme or reason. And if there wasn't, pay your respects. And that said, people, remember, be good to your friends, be good to your family members, be good to your loved ones. Be quick to say you're sorry. Be even quicker to accept an apology, especially when that thing your friend, your family member, your loved one has done seems to be so huge, you'll never be able to forget about it. Because constant viewers, on a weekend like this, Memorial Day weekend, please remember, at a time you think not, your friends, your family members, your loved ones, your life, and your very country will depart from you. Hey, Sydney, I said it a few times today. I bet there's a few British that died in the course of freedom, brother. God save Britannia. Free Count Dankula!